here is baby Tank. Tink Tank. I feel like she knows something's going on. Huh. Tink Tank. Tink. I didn't even know why I'm lint rolling this. And it never fails. You always get a cat that you don't want. And I know the cat that I want in here is not going to want to get in here. What are you doing? Okay, so they make you put their name and your name and phone number on here. And listen, I hear little tiny baby meows. Oh, and I see baby paw. Oh no. Okay, so let's go. Oh, she went right in there. Oh, Tank, you're the first one that I've ever had that's going to get fixed that ever wanted to go in there. She's scratching that. And I had to take the bed, the comfy part out of here because they just want the plastic part on there. And then I put a puppy pad on here just on the bottom because when they get fixed they don't want anything really on there other than just like a mat. So it's not going to be super comfortable for her, but what can I say? That's what they tell me to do. So this is going to be our first crated car ride because she's only had one car ride ever, and I'll explain to you once I get her back in here. Come on, Tank. Oh, she's really easy to get in there. Till I zip the... You did this... Ouch! Ow! You did this willingly. My other cats know because they've all been through there. Tank's scratching already. You want it in there. Tank, Tank. Oh no, baby, I'm sorry. What, you're just chilling back there because you know, huh? She don't care. She's like, what? All right, let's go. Because I can talk. Look, I got hair already on that already. Because I can talk to you guys better through this. But I gotta get my sunglasses out of my other car. Hopefully I can get parked out of here. This one likes parking me in for some reason. Sunglasses. Okay, so hey guys, I am in my car now, and I took my Volkswagen because it has like a bigger dash. The seatbelt thing. It has a bigger dash for my camera setup, and I did not get a suction cup thing for my phone yet. I apologize. So it might be a little bit bouncy. It might lose you a couple times. You might slide. So I'll grab you. I'll hold on to you. Don't worry. I'll save you. So, I am headed to drop my cat off. I hate doing this. I'm just going to put this seatbelt on. I sit so close to the steering wheel, I can hardly reach the seatbelt. Hold on. I hate wearing a seatbelt too. Barely stop. I can put this behind me because this drives me nuts. Okay. I can't handle it beeping anymore. My cat's digging now, but it hasn't meowed yet. She's not much of a meower to begin with. She likes like little tiny meows. Anyway, I am headed to drop my cat off. It's a little bit of a drive, probably about a half hour, 35 minutes. I drive extra long to get to this Humane Society. I guess it's not a Humane Society. It's Action for Animals, and I like them a lot better than I do the ones closer to me. So I just always have taken all of my animals and all my rescue animals to them. So yeah, so that's where I'm going. It is 8:30 in the morning. I'm going to stop and get coffee. This is a steep hill, so I'm holding on to you guys. Hold on. Okay. We should be pretty flat the rest of the way. I say that, you guys are bouncing around. Okay, so I wanted to tell you about my little cat story. This was my mother-in-law's fault. And I say that in a joking manner, kind of. I had enough. Why are you guys moving all around? I don't know. It's so bright this morning. This is why I don't like mornings, guys. So, and like throughout time, I don't know if she just kind of dealt with them because like obviously like I was a cat nut. But she never really liked cats in the house or like around or, you know what I mean? Like she just wasn't like me, you know? So, I don't know. She got better, I guess, through time, you know, seeing mine or whatever. But she wouldn't like have a cat in her house, you know? So she doesn't live too far. She lives like 6 miles away from us. So we're there like every day. So anyway, we live kind of in the country. Yeah, we do. We live in the country. So we get like animals dropped off or just randomly show up. So she had this random barn cat. There, my cat's starting to make noises. So if you hear, it's not animal cruelty. She's never been in a cage, guys. So anyway, she had this cat just shoved her house. She's like, come get this cat. I'm like, I'm not coming to get this cat. Like, she lives in a more rural area than I do. So, like, it would have more survival skills, like, obviously living there than it would at my house. Like, there's, like, farms and stuff near her and stuff. So, I'm like, I'm not coming to get that cat. Like, I don't need it. Like, it's fine where it is. So, she started feeding it. I said, you're going to have more cats if you start feeding it. I don't know if she didn't believe me or she took that as a challenge or what. So then she had 2 cats. I said, you're going to have kittens. And she's like, you think? And I said, oh, I know you're going to have kittens. So guess what? Like a month or 2 later, she had kittens. So she calls me. She said, we could find these kittens. I was like, I don't know where these kittens are. Like, and feral cats, like these cats wouldn't come to you, you know? They wouldn't. I'm like, I have no idea where these kittens are. Like, so we went on a kitten find because she talked me into trying to find these kittens. And we ended up finding them, like, after days looking for them. Here, they were in one of her cars that she didn't drive anymore. And they were underneath the hood, which she never drove it anyway. And these little kittens, I've never had feral cats. Like, I've always had, like, cats that I've always taken care of. But I've never had, like, feral cats to the point where, like, they're scary. And I've never had cats that hated me so bad. Like, feral kittens are so scary. They're like, and they go like, they just scare you, and then like, they're just so funny. So I was scared actually of them. And then they like didn't want anything to do with me. So I'm like, I'm not even trying to pick them up. She was trying to get me to pick them up. I'm like, I'm not even touching them. Don't even call me. Like, they'll be fine. They're in that. They're not driving anything. Like, they're fine. So anyway, I don't know how it happened, but one of them got out, and I don't know if I can't remember how the start of the story happened. I don't know if she picked one up, or if someone picked one up, or one got on the porch somehow, or how it happened. Whatever happened, one of these kittens got on the porch. So, okay, it was cute. Somebody must have picked it up. It was super tiny, I guess, or whatever. I didn't see it when this was happening, of course, you know. So then the tomcat, which a lot of the tomcats do kill the kittens, like, you know what I mean, they'll go around killing kittens. And the mom cat didn't want anything to do with now this kitten for some reason. I don't know if it was because they messed with it or if they didn't recognize it now that it got out of the, you know, little nest for so long, because once they get out, sometimes they don't recognize them, like if they get rid of their scent, I guess, or something. So I don't know. Regardless, these big cats, and they were like big, you know, like you could tell they've been through some shit, you know. They like had scars all over them. Like they lived outside for their whole life, so like
they were survivors, you know. So they were like hissing at them. They didn't want anything to do with this little tiny kitten, like, and it was like a scared shitless, like, you know. So she's like, well, I don't know what to do, like, it won't, and it was like super tiny, like where it needed still fed off its mom. I'm like, well, go to Petco and get like a bottle feeder, like for baby kittens or something. I'm like, I can't even see it because like crazy cat ladies like me, we see kittens and our instant reactions like, I'm taking it home. So I knew that's what was going to happen. So I didn't want to even see it. So I was like, just get a Petco, get that, and you should be able to bottle feed it. So she did do that. She did it for a couple of days. She's like, oh yeah, it's eating and all this and that, which was great. So a day or two later, she calls me and she's like, well, I can't find this kitten now. I hear it meowing. She's like, we haven't been able to find it for a day or two. Well, it wasn't eating off its mom and it must have wandered off and got lost. So the mom wasn't concerned about it at all. Like, it didn't even want anything to do with it. And the dad didn't care. I don't even know if that was the dad or not. But, so nobody was helping find this kitten. They couldn't find this kitten. So I was like, fine, I'll come over and help find it. So we were going to Boy Scouts. I stopped in one day and I heard it meowing and meowing and meowing. And she doesn't have a strong meow to begin with. But I heard it meowing and it was like so hard to find because it was like in a garage. And like I heard it meowing and I slowly heard faint meows and then I didn't hear it meowing anymore. So I'm like, I don't know. I said, I can't find it anymore. Like I thought maybe like, you know, it just like didn't have enough strength or whatever. I don't know. I hadn't seen it for like a week or two. So I gotta go to Boy Scouts. I said, I had no idea. So we went to Boy Scouts. She calls me like during the middle of Boy Scouts. I couldn't answer it. So I called her afterwards. She's like, you gotta stop and see this kitten. So my husband was going to meet me there. So we stopped there and we see this kitten. And my father-in-law must have gone out. He told me he got out with a shovel. I don't know what he did. Like, because he walks with a cane and stuff. So he might have, like, tried getting him out with, like, a cane. Because he can't move very well. So anyway, they had, like, these big air tanks. Like, this is a long story, guys. I'm sorry for, like, a cat story. But they had these big air tanks. Like, I want to say they're air tanks, but they're like super heavy. They're like taller than I am, you know, and they're like heavy. Like I couldn't pick them up. And they're like, I don't know, he probably had like 4 or 5 of them, you know, in a circle. And like you couldn't move them. Like I tried to move them when I was even looking for the kitten because I thought that's kind of where around it was. And I couldn't find it, you know. So he said that's where the kitten was. Like he had moved those air tanks or whatever. And he found it and he had to scoop it out from underneath that air tank or whatever. Like he had to move the air tank and like drag it out from underneath there. So, like those air tanks were like super heavy. Like if you would have moved that air tank and like accidentally hit that cat, like it would have died. So we get there. Sorry, this is so annoying. I'm going to get one of those suction cups. Like I keep saying that, but I'm going to. So, anyway, that was my brother-in-law. So we get to my father-in-law's and my mother-in-law's or whatever, and this kitten, which was, you know, walking around and fine the last time I seen him, like not fine, but like normal. And I get there, like, and it was just like this. So it was just like super limp and it was barely moving. Like it was just like this. It just wouldn't lift its head up. It was just like not even, I would say it was just like maybe technically alive because it was breathing, but it was just not really alive. So I felt like super bad for it. I said, I don't think it's going to make it through the night. Like probably one, because it was malnourished, because it wasn't really eating off its mom. I mean, she was giving it that bottle. I don't know if she was giving it regularly. You know what I mean? I'm not sure how often it was supposed to be or how much it was supposed to be eaten. I don't know. I don't know how long it was trying to get out of wherever it was stuck. I don't know what was wrong with it. I have no idea what was going on. But like it was just like this. It was just limp. It wasn't meowing. It wasn't doing anything. It was just like it was just like so sad. Like I could just cry even just thinking about it. I said, I don't know. I said, I don't know if it's gonna make it or not. So I had like a box. It was like spray paint, a box like that my husband had spray paint stuff in the back of my car. got a little tiny box, and I had, we got a blanket, and I had a shirt of mine that I put in there and everything, and I stuck it in there, and she wouldn't let it in the house or anything, so we stuck it on the porch, and I made a, safe little place for it on the porch and everything, because I didn't think it was going to make it through the night. Like, I really didn't. And I just felt so bad for it. Like, I tried even feeding it wet food, or I tried sticking some in its mouth, and it was just like gagging. It wasn't having it. So I was just like, I just didn't think it was going to make it. And next day, she calls me. She's like, get over here. I was like, why? And she's like, you need to come over here. So I thought, like, I was walking into, like, a dead kitten situation. And I've never seen a dead kitten. And I can't handle anything like that. Like, I'm, like, emotional to begin with. So I'm like, I don't know if I can even handle that. So obviously I told my husband to come with me. We go over there, and this kitten is just jumping all around, and, like, it's, like, super happy, and it's just, like, a regular kitten. I'm like, you guys are just messing with me. I was like, this isn't the same cat. She's like, yeah, it is. I said, are you serious? And she's like, yeah. I was like, really? I would have never thought in my life that would have been the same kitten. She's like, yeah. She's like, it is. And I was shocked. I would have never thought it was the same cat. It was just like day and night. Like, it just, like, popped up, and it was just, like, playing, and it was just different cat, like, just crazy. And then I gave it wet food. It was eating, and it was just, like, day and night. Like, so it was super fine. So I was like, that's so weird, because, like, literally, I don't know if it was just completely exhausted from not being able to eat so long, or maybe dehydrated or whatever, and trying to get out of wherever it was stuck from. But, like, the next morning, it was just, like, literally, like, snapped out of it, and it was, like, super kitten. So I was like, that's weird. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So every day then I went over and I started feeding it, because that's what my mother-in-law wanted. And she still fed the mom and them, but they would not even pay attention to this cat. Like, I thought maybe, like, after, like, it would start, walking around in itself, it would, but it wouldn't. They wouldn't bring it back down to the little other kittens or anything. So he would be by himself all the time. I thought it was a boy, but it's a female. So she would always be by herself all the time, like, and I felt bad for her. And then here, where it gets, like, this is how I ended up with a new one. So this is, how long have I been talking? A while, huh? So anyway, I make such a simple story so long. Anyway, we get these really bad storms. Like, I was talking, like, really bad thunderstorms, lightning storms, just really bad storms. And I'm talking, like, for, like, probably, like, 2 weeks solid, like, every day. Like, bad. Like, lightning storms, like, wind, like, just really bad. And my mother-in-law's porch, like, she has a porch, but it's, like, a smaller porch. It's not, like, a super safe porch, you know what I mean? So, like, the kitten wasn't really that, like, safe. Like, I'm sure, like, I'd be scared sitting on that porch. I'm sure the kitten was scared on that porch, you know what I mean? And, like, I tried to, like, like, have that box, like, as safe as I could, but it would get wet, like, you know what I mean? Like, and I would change this box all the time, like, every day or whatever. And then the one day, it was really, really storming, and my husband's like, I kind of feel bad for that kitten. And it was, like, not storming at the time, and I thought about it, and I told Aspen, I said, okay. I said, well, why don't we go get it? And then we waited, about a half hour. I said, we'll go in about, like, 15, 20 minutes. So by the time I was ready to go get it, it started storming, and it was, like, really storming, like lightning, thunder, and everything else. And I was like, well, let's go. It was just, like, buckets of rain, like, pouring rain. And when we were going to get this kitten, lightning, everything else, the road that I was going on to get out of my house, there's a big tree down. I couldn't get out of my road to get to my mother-in-law's house. Like, it was just shut down. So I went around to another road to get back to my mother-in-law's house. That road was shut down, so I had to go the whole way around. Like, it was just a mess. You go the whole way around to the highway and, like, out and around. You guys don't understand, but it was just, like, the whole long way around to get to my mother-in-law's house. So that should have been the sign. So I get there, and it was just still downpouring. Like, I ran in there, grabbed this little kitten. I said, well, I'm taking it home. And she's like, really? And she's like, yeah. So we named it Baby Tank. Well, Tank, but I call it Baby Tank because like she doesn't seem like she's grown. I think she's like the runt of the like litter because she's like doesn't grow. But I say that with all of them. Like, and my favorite one, my favorite cat, like I always never thought he was grown, and like he's like the biggest cat I have. He's really big. He's like the biggest cat ever. But I never thought he was gonna grow. But he's pretty big. But anyway, I don't think she's growing really, so I call her Baby Tank. Aspen's like, well, what are you gonna do when she's not a baby anymore? I'm like, I'm gonna still call her Baby Tank. But anyway, we called her Tank because she almost died in between air tanks, like by herself. So anyway, that was her survival story. All of our cats have a different story. And I told my mother-in-law this was her fault that we had another cat. And I told her before, well, she tried to trap this cat, the mom, before to get it fixed and to send it to the pound or whatever, to the animal shelter. But I always tell her to send it to a where they don't euthanize them, because older cats, they're not going to get adopted. And this one looks like homely. Like I know nobody's going to adopt like a scarred up cat. Like I would, just because it looks like it has like a story, but it's not like super affectionate. It's scared. You know what I mean? Like not a lot of people are going to want a cat like that, sadly. Not a lot of people want an older cat, but everybody wants a kitten. Kittens are like crazy. Like this one's crazy. Like I feel bad for her. She's not even talking. She's sleeping now. But this is the first time she's been in a little pet carrier. When I brought her over to the house, I just carried her over, and she was like a feral kitten, so she wasn't like super loved when she was like super tiny, you know what I mean? So she's still like, she's still lovey, but she's still like wiry, you know what I mean? Just not like a lot of my other ones. Like, I don't know how to explain her. They all have like different personalities, you know? Then my husband makes me kind of feel bad because he's like, well, you want to go get her fixed. I'm like, did you ever have a cat that was not fixed? Like, you don't want that either. So like if something would happen, like I'd always feel bad because it'd be my fault because I wanted her to get fixed. But it's important to spay and neuter your cats, especially cats, because there's like so many, like 60 million or something cats that don't have homes, that are outside. It's a lot. Not only that, there's just like, they keep having litters and keep having litters. That's not healthy on them. They don't have homes. Like, they get diseases. There's too much stuff. You know? Not a good life for them. So anyway, I am going down here. I drop her off. I have to have her here by 9:30, which I'm glad I left when I did, because there's actually a lot of traffic for nothing today. I have 10 minutes to get there, which I should be okay. I didn't stop to get coffee yet. I might have to after I drop her off. I don't know. I had time. I already went past. But that's fine. I'll just stop afterwards. My husband got a new truck yesterday, so he was supposed to come with me to drop her off, which I'm glad he didn't, because I probably wouldn't do a vlog with him in the car with me. So at least I got to tell my story. I don't know, I've been talking for like a long time. I can't even see how long I was talking. So if you guys made it through this vlog, you guys are dedicated cat people. Or just super nosy, one of the two. I'm not sure. Oh, Aspen stayed home from school. Poor kid just started school Tuesday. And like, I feel like such a bad mom. He stayed home today. He doesn't have school Friday. And today, this whole week's the fair, so we were supposed to go to the fair. He loves the fair, and we were supposed to go to the fair just to go, like, to get fair food or whatever to eat. And he's sick now. His throat's sore, his nose is runny, getting fever, and it happens all the time. Like, I don't know how you get that sick that first week of school. Oh, she's up. So, like, it feels so bad for him. He got sick. Kids bringing germs to school the first week of school. So I'm hoping he feels better. Like, I gave him medicine last night and woke him up this morning because I was hoping he'd go to school because 8th grade does not mess around, you guys. Stay in school, stay smart, because 8th grade, at least his 8th grade, they come home with homework. The first day they came home with homework. Not serious homework, but a little bit of homework. The second day was serious homework. And every day after that, homework. So today, or last night, he's like, I really don't want to miss school. He's like, because I'll have all kinds of makeup work. I was like, well, if you're sick, you can't go to school, you're going to be miserable. So I tried to get him to go to school because I knew he didn't want to miss. But he wasn't having it this morning, and, you know, they would have sent him home if he was sick anyway. So he missed. I gave him medicine this morning, so I don't know what else to do. I don't know. Hopefully it's just like something simple that'll go away. If not, I guess I'll take him to the doctor, but I'll see how bad he is today. But anyway, I drop her off at 9:30. Probably gonna be late. And then they normally call me, normally it's like 2:30, 3 o'clock by the time I gotta pick her up. So drop her off. I'm gonna go get coffee, and I don't know what else I'll do down here. My husband got a truck, so he was supposed to come with me, but he was getting an oil change this morning, and he'll be messing with that truck all day. I know he's gonna be cleaning it. It's not a brand new truck. It's a newer truck, but it looks really nice. And he researched it. He's been wanting a truck for a long time, so I'm glad he got one. So he deserves it. He's a good guy. I pick on him a lot, but he does pretty good for everybody, for himself and for us too. So for the cats and for everybody, he does really good. So he does try. So he deserves his truck. I wish he could get whatever he wanted, but he researched it and he got a Ford. He's a Ford guy, so I know everybody's like, it's like a truck world, I guess. I don't know, like everybody's like Ford, Chevy, whatever. It's like I don't even care. I'm a Volkswagen person, so I get it, but I don't get that serious about it. But anyway, he's a dedicated Ford person. We had our dog, and he loved Fords so much that our dog's name was Ford. So I'm pretty sure we're always going to have a Ford truck. I mean, if he named our dog Ford, I'd be pretty pissed if he got a Dodge or something else. Like if I had to call our dog named Ford that long. But we lost our dog. We lost our dog, actually. Look, I'm getting all upset now. We lost our dog a couple years ago. No, this will be our second year without Ford. He was a great dog. I just hate going into the animal shelter and seeing all these dogs. Seeing all these dogs, and all I have is cats now. But I'm a cat person now. I've always been a cat person, but I know he'd love to have a dog, but we do still have a Chihuahua. I don't classify him as a dog, though. He's more of a cat/rat. Cat-rat dog is what I call him. He's a good dog, too, but he's not really much of a dog. He is. I mean, he's been a good dog, but my husband would rather have, like, a real dog, you know, like a big dog, but they're a lot of work. There towards the end, I know when, like our lab, he was 100 and he weighed more than me. He was like 100 and I don't know, 30, 50 pounds or something, a lot. And I had to like lift him up the stairs, I had to help him down the stairs, like it gets to be a lot of work, you know? I mean, you did it because you love him, but it's just sad. Makes you wonder, like, why can't they live like the same as us, like lifespan? I think they'd be able to, like, science and everything. You think they'd be able to do something like that? I don't know. All right. Well, I am going to get off here because I'm like rambling on. I don't even know if I know what I'm talking about because I haven't even had coffee. I haven't even had a drink yet, so I'm super thirsty actually. And I'm still actually pretty far away. So I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna drop her off, and then I will see what I'm gonna get into next. I will talk to you guys here in a little bit.
All right, Tank. Tank. I love you. Oh, she's purring. Right. You're gonna get fixed, okay? You be a good girl? Oh, I feel bad. Alright, over here. Let's go in. So I just dropped her off. It was packed in there. Like, there was like 4 people in front of me. The lady checking everybody in was super slow, but I felt so bad for her. She didn't make any noises at all. She was just super quiet, and she was just like wide-eyed, just like staring at me. Which she's probably scared she was probably pretty scared, because there was like dogs barking, you know, and all those like different smells and everything else from like obviously from a shelter. So hopefully, like, she probably thinks I'm like leaving her there, or I don't know, who knows what goes through their heads or whatever. But I felt really bad, and I just got off the phone with my husband, and he feels bad. He's like, I almost didn't feel like we should get her fixed. I knew he was gonna tell me that. It's too late. She's already there. So, and I was just talking about my lab, and there's a guy literally right in front of me who had a black lab, which was just like mine. And he was 6 months, and he was getting dropped off to get fixed too. So he looked literally like little baby Ford. Was that a sign that we should get another dog? I literally was just talking about him. So anyway, I don't know. I'm gonna stop at this thrift store, and then I'm heading home to go pick up my husband, and then we'll probably come back down here because we're gonna have to pick up my cat here obviously later. I'm not sure what time they're going to call me. She asked me if I was going to stay in the area, so I don't know if that means they're going to be super fast or what. You pick them up, and they're just coming out of like anesthetic, so they're like literally like groggy and everything, which my sons always get like a kick out of it because they're like still loopy out of the, you know, anesthetic or whatever, so they always get a big kick out of it. Like, they always think that's funny. So anyway, I am going into Goodwill just because I'm never down in this area, only when we're here with our one friend, and he loves this Goodwill. So I figured, why not stop? And there's a Volkswagen here. It's a convertible, and I feel like every time somebody sees my Volkswagen, they park beside mine, so I'm gonna park beside it. And she's taking her top off, so I'm parking beside it. Okay, so it is 10 till 4. They just called me to go pick up Tank, and she is up and doing well, they said. So I just hate taking her home when she's like super like coming out of anesthesia. So I waited an extra half hour before I had to get her. They said as long as I got her before 5, which I could have left her there an extra probably 45 minutes, but I'm ready to go home. So I'm going to pick her up now, and we will see how she's doing. So I'm almost there now, and take her home. I always feel so bad for these animals in here. Like, I wish I could take all of them home. Especially all the older cats in here. They have a really nice place, but they're all older cats. I feel bad for them. And the dogs. So, let's go get her. Okay, here's Tank. I don't have enough arms. Hold on, girl. Tink Tink. Hey Tink. Hey girl. Hey. You doing okay? Huh? You doing good? Tink Tink. Okay. Okay, so she's in here. She's doing okay. I'm gonna try to keep it quiet in here for her. But they said she did really good to keep her in the cage for a couple hours to about 6:30, and it's about 4, so she'll be in there for a while. And I went in there, and there are like all these cats lined up, like honestly, like 7 or 8 of them, all in cages, and they were all the exact same color as her. And I said, wow, I said, you have all kinds of like tabby cats, like the same color as her. She's like, yeah. I was like, they all look like her. And she's like, yeah. I said, hopefully I got the right one. And she just laughed. I was kind of serious, but it's the same. It's Tank. So, the vet forgot to sign the rabies tag or something. So they're going to mail that to me, which no big deal. But most all of my other cats, well, some all my other cats get it tattooed on them. Like my dogs all have them tattooed. The cats get them tattooed in their ear. And the stray cats get clipped. But she just got a tag. So I don't know. But anyway, she is doing good. She's super quiet. And they said she's like a tinier on the small side of a cat. So I knew she was the smaller cat. I think she was the runt of the litter. I don't know. But they said she was doing really well. There's my seatbelt again. But yeah, I don't know. The last 2 that I took there was my last 2 strays, and those were the black and white ones. And they have like, they look exactly the same, but they're like complete opposites. The one went in there and it hissed. It's like the biggest baby, like it's afraid of everything, but he hisses at everything. He was on my last vlog. He had like a steak bone or something, and he was hissing. But he went in there and he was hissing at everybody. Like came out of that cage like hissing and everything. And then the little one came out and she was like super friendly and she was like rubbing on everybody. Like they hated to even put her under like anesthetic or whatever because she was just loving everybody. I'm sure they really wanted to put the other one down because he hated everybody, but it's like bipolar. So, but anyway, I am going home. My husband's probably gonna, and then we're probably gonna want to go to the fair, and I hate to almost leave her at the house. We probably won't go till later, but the cats are gonna hate her when we go home. If you guys have never got a cat fixed, especially if you have other cats at the house, the smell and just of, I guess, everybody, of all the other animals or whatever, they just go crazy. They hiss and they forget and they just get mad at each other, and it's quite entertaining. It's entertaining for me. Jay thinks it's mean. I kind of find it funny. They get over it. I mean, whatever. But it is kind of sad, but kind of funny at the same time. What do you do? It's kind of my entertainment for the night. So I will record it because they will hate each other and she'll be confused. So she'll be in her cage for a couple hours. And this might be kind of a boring vlog, guys. I don't know. I'm sorry. Oh, I want to tell you about my freaking bank card.
I stopped here, you can't see it, but I stopped here to get gas. When I dropped her off, I came here and got gas in my little Volkswagen, which sometimes we have a couple other vehicles, like, so I'm used to putting a ton of gas in a lot of stuff. Like our Hummer takes over $100, our truck takes over a lot, and even my Lincoln takes a lot. But my Volkswagen takes $35 to fill up. That's it. Sometimes $40 if I'm on Dead E, which I was on Dead E. So I go to prepaid and I use my card at the pump, and it says see attendant. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, all the pumps were filled. So I go in there and I said my card didn't work. So she prepays it. I said it's probably gonna, I said just put $35 on it. So I go out, and this other Volkswagen's like in front of me, this guy. He's like, oh, I love your car. I said, thanks. So anyway, I'm like, I hit it, you know what I mean? So I do the auto. So I'm like going back into my car. I'm getting a drink. I put my card away. I'm just messing around because, like, I don't stand there and watch the fuel pump. Like, I just never did. So anyway, finally, when it gets to $35 or close to it, I get out to get ready to, like, put it back. It goes over $35. It keeps going. And it keeps going. And it gets to $38 and it, like, stops because it's, like, full. So I, like, keep hitting it because I'm thinking, like, something's wrong. You know what I mean? So it's, like, overflowing with gas at this time. So something's wrong. So I go back in there. And I said, well, I thought she charged me for $45 maybe. You know what I mean? She heard me wrong. So I said, I was on pump 4. I said, I think maybe, she's like, oh, your car wasn't as thirsty as what you thought it was. And I was like, what? And she's like, she's trying to give me like $28 back. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, here, I owe you $28. And I said, no, you don't. And she's like, yeah. She's like, you only used, and I forget what she said, like a ridiculous low amount. And I said, no. I said, I'm pretty sure I pumped $38. You know what I mean? And then this other lady came in. She's like, no, I used my card. And she's like, she only got like $11 worth or something. And that's what they thought I got. It was just a mess. And they thought I paid for her gas, and I didn't. And they couldn't figure it out. And I paid for $35, but I got $38 somehow. They printed me out a card, a receipt, and it said I paid for $38.14. That is what I put in gas, $38.14. So I didn't think anything about it. I thought they figured it out. I was like, okay. So I went home, and I was on my way back to pick her up, and I went past that again. I said, you know what, I better check my app on my bank account to make sure, like, I didn't pay for somebody else's gas again, you know what I mean, twice. Because I did scan my card once, and it said see attendant, so I wanted to make sure, like, the person, again, didn't, you know, get free gas or whatever. So I log on there, and it says $1 and then $35. Well, that's not even right, because it would be $36. And I got $38.14 in gas. So, I mean, regardless, I got $2. They shorted themselves $2 and something in gas. So I stopped again because, like, it said, my receipt says I paid $38, but my bank account says I only paid $36, and I didn't want it to charge me again. But if you think if it would run through again, she's like, well, if it charges you again, just stop and we'll refund you. So I have no idea what the fuck happened. Like, my receipt says one thing, my bank account says another thing. So I just gotta watch it to see if it's going to charge me again, because that's weird. I don't know what they did. They did something wrong. But if my receipt says $38.14 and my bank account says $35 and then $1, I don't see how that's right, you know? And it says pending on there. Like, it doesn't say it's, like, for sure out of my checking account. I don't know. So I just gotta look for it. And I don't even, like, I never use that gas station at all. I always normally use cash. This is why I normally always use cash. Everybody's like, oh, I always use my bank card. I normally don't. I normally use cash all the time. And this is why. Because when I don't, shit like this happens to me all the time. So I don't know. So I'm just going to check that, I guess, later or tomorrow and make sure I didn't pay like $80 for $30 in my Volkswagen. Because that wouldn't be pretty cool. So, Tank is being so quiet. She's so quiet to begin with. She's being super quiet. She's really alert though. Like normally when I pick like the other ones up, they're like completely out of it, not really alert. She's actually doing a lot better than some of them have been. I always get really nervous when, I don't know, I always think of the worst ever. Like I'm an overthinker. All right, I'm done talking. End of story. Till I get home. Can't see anything. There she is. Supposed to keep her in a quiet place. You're right. Everybody's creeping on her for a couple hours, so I'm gonna turn this around so she gets some, hopefully, rest. Oh, I forgot that she's on this side now. I forgot this one was open. Hey, girl. Tank, Tank. So you did pretty good, huh? Little woozy. She stayed in longer than what she's supposed to because we left. So. All right, here's her little incision. That's it. Oh. Huh. Everybody's loving you. So I had to put this sweater on her because she was chewing her stitches. And she never had a sweater on, so she's walking a little weird. But she's doing okay. Tank.